Ready to cozy up your space this fall? Wisco Home Goods has just what you need. Hand-poured soy candles crafted in small batches, made to burn clean, and scented with the warm, comforting notes of the season. Stop by their shop at 4664 Cottage Grove Road on Madison's beautiful east side, or browse their fall collection online at wiscohomegoods.com. Shop local, breathe easy, feel good. All autumn long with Wisco Home Goods. This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Tade, are you in need of some exciting weekend plans? Well, the Hump Film Festival, founded by famous advice columnist Dan Savage of Savage Love, is returning to Madison. This Saturday night, September 27th at the Barrymore, you can catch the latest rendition of the independent adult film fest Hump, with all new jury selections. To get you ready, we're bringing back my conversation with Dan himself to learn about Hump's origins, Dan's best Madison stories, and some reflections on LGBTQIA plus liberation. Fair warning, y'all, this is an adult conversation with adult language, so if you're around young ears right now, consider firing this episode up at a later time. The man, the myth, the legend, Dan Savage, who's given me a face. You are a legend, especially for us Madisonians. Welcome to CityCast Madison.
There's something wrong with you if someone calls you a legend and you don't make a face. You're obligated to at least fake a face. So maybe I think I'm a legend, but I'm faking a face, but I made a face.
Oh my God. What do you mean?
Who, me?
Me? Yes, Dan, a true multi-hyphenate, a writer, podcaster, activist, LGBTQ advocate, and so much more. And today, you're here as the founder of Hump, a sexy film fest that's celebrating 20 years. First off, congratulations. Oh my God.
Thank you so much. We're really excited about Hump 2.0 coming to Madison and 40, 50, 60 other cities all around the world.
Oh, that's so awesome. Looking back, did you ever envision this like indie erotic film fest would be like this huge, that it would come so far?
No, when we started, me and a coworker, Brad Steinbacher, had this idea for Hump, and we literally had to beg Tim Keck, who's the publisher of The Stranger, who had been the founder and publisher of The Onion in Madison, Wisconsin, for years to let us do this, because the idea was we would announce an amateur porn film festival and ask people in Seattle to send us their homemade amateur porn that we would assemble into an evening of film clips to then be screened in Seattle. And everybody was convinced that no one would send us films that their friends, coworkers, neighbors, adult children could walk into a theater then and see. And we finally got the okay just to do it as a joke. And we got so many great submissions that then we had to book a theater. And the question then shifted from, would anybody be so dumb as to send these films to us to screen in a theater in Seattle, or sex positive, actually, is how I should put it, to would people come and sit in a movie theater next to strangers in the dark to watch pornography the way their grandparents did when their grandparents went to see Beyond the Green Door and Debbie Does Dallas in movie theaters. And we didn't know if anybody would come, but those first screenings sold out. We added more and more and more screenings over the course of a weekend. And 20 years later, we went from getting 30, 40 submissions that first year at Hump to getting 500, 600 submissions every year now for Hump, which is why Hump comes twice a year. There's Hump in the spring and Hump in the fall. We have a season in the spring and a season in the fall for people now, because we could just get so many great films that we wanted to expand Hump, which we did last year, and now here we are, 20th anniversary Hump Film Festival. I can't believe it. It could be, if Tim had let us do it when we wanted to and we first had the idea, this could be Hump's 24th anniversary.
Right. He held you back for a couple of years there.
He did. He
didn't see it, but obviously people want to see these films. And you kind of mentioned it, like maybe we'll have to convince people. No, you don't. But for folks who have never experienced it before, what can they expect when they attend Hump? Like, other than seeing a lot of sex?
Well, what you won't find are people masturbating in their seats. It's not that kind of porn experience.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask.
Yeah. What you're going to see are a really diverse group of between 20 and 25 films at every Hump Film Festival that run the gamut from You get hardcore, softcore animation, spoken word. You have professional filmmakers who like go all out and make a 5-minute short Hump film, because all the films at Hump are 5 minutes or less, who like spend thousands of dollars making an amazing short film with sound mixing and lighting and everything, and professional cinematographers. And then you have people who just like propped their cell phone up and made a video of themselves with their lovers, like true amateur pornography. Only at Hump are you going to see a brand new movie musical starring a sentient cum sock.
That's a must-see. That's a must-see. Yeah, is it a rock opera?
It is kind of. Well, it's a musical comedy. It's a parody of Little Shop of Horrors. It's Little Sock of Horrors.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
That sounds incredible. I want to ask, because there are so many devotees for the Hump Fest, right? For Hump veterans out there, is there anything sort of, new in store or special specifically for this year's milestone event?
Well, every year we invite the filmmakers to include some Easter eggs in the films if they want to. They don't have to,
Love an
but
Easter
they
egg.
can. And then it's fun for the audience to watch out for those Easter eggs. And Tube Sock was one of the Easter eggs this year, which is how we got this original movie musical comedy about a tube sock that comes to life and demands to be fed.
Oh my gosh. It's a little bit like Cannes Festival,
Yeah. Well, we always warn people, like, not warn people, but you will watch porn at Hump that takes you outside your comfort zone. Everybody who comes to Hump, there are films that are 30 seconds long. There are films that are 5 minutes long. 5 minutes is the max running time. There's a lot of like really funny films at Hump. It's almost like there's this Hump genre, which is like comedy and a skit, but with full sex in it, which is, I think, like something you can only find at Hump. But like some of it's challenging. Some of it takes you outside your comfort zone, which is part of the magic of Hump. It's one of the things I love about Hump, and it's one of the reasons why Hump devotees keep coming back. To be surprised, to be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, because, if for most people, if they go to look at porn, they're going to pick what they want to see. And here they're giving up control and being an audience member. And you're going to see some things you might not have selected for yourself.
Yeah, I always say that. At Hump, you're going to watch porn that if you were sitting home alone in front of your computer masturbating, you would not click on, which is part of the sort of roller coaster ride that is Hump. But, that's also our trigger warning. You're going to watch porn that takes you out to your comfort zone. Probably wouldn't have clicked on it. Part of the trigger warning for Hump is nothing's longer than 5 minutes. If something's really not working for you, close your eyes, wait 5 minutes, and we'll be on to something that you might like better.
That's a good rule, that's a good comfort. You always can close your eyes, maybe your ears as well.
One of the things I do love about Hump, and it's kind of the magic of Hump, especially if you see it in a theater full of people who haven't been to Hump before, or most people haven't been to Hump before, is people are going to be watching porn that they wouldn't have chosen to watch. And I watch the audience at Hump because I've seen the films a million times. So when I come to a screening, I watch the audience. And what I see when I look out are like, gay boys watching cunnilingus on the giant silver screen and kind of like, cringing a little bit.
You gotta look at it.
And straight guys watching gay butt stuff, and vanilla people watching hardcore kink, and cis people watching porn made by trans people that was not made to cater to cis people's ideas of transness. And there's just this magic moment where the entire audience goes from seeing what's not theirs in every film, that's not my sexual orientation, not my sexual interest, not my gender expression, and that getting in the way at first, to halfway through the screening, that same gay boy that I clocked, like covering his eyes, is now like watching and cheering for that film that's cunnilingus, that's a vulva giant on the screen. And the same with the straight boys, and everybody just like, there's this shift where the entire audience goes from everybody seeing what's not theirs in each film to everybody seeing what is theirs in each film, because sexual orientation, sexual interest, gender expression, that's a thin layer on top of a much thicker layer of everything we have in common, everything that is ours in every film, which is desire, lust, vulnerability, a sense of humor, intimacy, the need for intimacy, a desire to entertain, a desire to connect, a desire to be seen sometimes as the objects we also are. and a desire to have fun. Like most Hump films are made by friends who are having a blast, which is something that's sometimes missing when you watch pornography online. Like sometimes you watch pornography and you're like, if you're a human being with a conscience, you're a little like, I hope that wasn't traumatizing for that person.
Right. I hope they're okay.
I enjoyed that. I hope they enjoyed it. You never have to have that worry at Hump. You enjoyed it. The people making it enjoyed it. One of my favorite things that happened to me once at a Hump screening was this woman came up to me before the show and was just like, I hate pornography. I'm here under duress. My friends forced me to come, and I'm like, you don't have to go in. Like I will intervene with your friends hostage. And I will get you out of here through a back door. You don't have to go in. And she came up to me after the show and was like, that was amazing.
Oh.
And what she said was, I don't like porn because it's dehumanizing. And that was humanizing. Everything I watched was humanizing. Best part of this story, the next year, that woman was in Hump. She made a film with her friends for Hump. Not hardcore, just like fun and making a point about sex. That was great. But she went from conscientious porn objector to I love Hump to in Hump in 12 months.
You know what fall in Wisconsin's like. 1 minute it's sunny and 60 degrees, the next you're scraping your windshield in the dark. Every year, someone gets caught by the first freeze. This year, don't let it be you. Think about it. Your furnace hasn't run in months. You flip the switch one night and instead of heat, you get a clunk. The dread, not another thing to do. And now you're on the waiting list with everyone else. That's why Cardinal Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric is running an early bird furnace tune-up special. It's $134 if you book before September 30th. A small price to avoid a cold, cranky house and a panicked $1,000 repair later. You're not just booking a tune-up, you're buying peace of mind before the chaos hits. Because smart homeowners, they prepare when the leaves fall, not when the snow does. Head to cardinalservice.com to schedule online now. Beat the freeze, sleep better, stay warm.
Learning a new language opens the door to new friends, new cultures, maybe even a whole new life. So why not start that journey today? I'm CityCast CEO David Plotz, and I'm learning Spanish with Babbel. Babbel's conversation-based technique quickly teaches you useful words and phrases about the things you actually talk about in the real world. I've been practicing my Spanish with Babbel's AI conversation partner. I can choose my conversation topic and have a real-time dialogue. It's great at helping me think on my feet, and it's improving my pronunciation. Also, it's really easy to do anytime on my phone using Babbel's excellent mobile app. It's just one of the many fantastic Babbel tools for learning. Plus, Babbel has a real-time feedback, progress trackers, and handy visualizations, all of which make it really easy to stay motivated to learn. I want you to learn another language. So CityCast is teaming up with Babbel to gift you 55% off subscriptions, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/citycast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/citycast. Spelled BABBEL.com/citycast. Babbel.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
You're widely known for your sex and advice column, Savage Love. What some folks might not know is that you actually started that famous column right here in Madison in 1991 while you were living here. Just want to ask, what was that like writing about sex in, our relatively small city?
It was a little crazy. I met Tim Keck and the other folks from The Onion who were moving to Seattle to start The Stranger. And I said to Tim, you should have an advice column in this newspaper you're talking about starting because you can't see the Q&A format without stopping to read it. And he was like, excellent advice. You should write the advice column. And we began to joke about what would it mean for a gay guy to give sex advice in a newspaper to straight people about straight sex. And I was like, well, since I came out when I was 15 years old, every straight girlfriend in my life has come to me for sex advice. This is something straight people do all the time. But originally, like, the column was going to be a joke. I was going to treat straight people with the same contempt that gay people had always been treated with in, like, Dear Abby and the Playboy Advisor, which would sometimes give advice to gay people, but always like that kind of turd on a fork, like, ew, holding you at arm's length and being like, okay, your mom must be really sad about you being gay, but here's some advice, go away.
Oh,
and I sort of treated straight people like that as a joke. And the column just took off. And proof that I wasn't expecting it to take off, I wrote it under my own name, thinking, like, I didn't live in Seattle, it didn't matter. I didn't bother to come up with a pseudonym to write my dirty sex column, which most people would have done, which it points to the fact that I didn't think I would be doing it and the Savage Lovecast 35 years later, that it would be my career. Didn't see that coming.
And here it is.
Yeah.
We're so proud of you. We actually talked to Christine Wentz the other day. She has a new book about the Onion, and hearing about those times is just so fun. Because we are such a Madison-specific show, we have to ask, do you have any favorite memories, sexual or not, of your time in Madison?
I started writing Savage Love when I worked at 4-Star Fiction and Video right off State Street.
We love 4-Star.
And I had an affair. One of the things I was still learning when I was in Madison was that, not that I wasn't good at monogamy, but the monogamy wasn't good for me and I should stop trying to make monogamous commitments. And so I was cheating on my then boyfriend, and we processed this and talked about it. But the place where I cheated on him with was the office behind 4-Star Fiction and Video, because I closed up at night and I would be there alone at night, and my friend Roger would come by at night and we would fuck.
Roger Ebert?
No, not, oh my God.
I'm kidding. You're like, God. I'm kidding.
Hot Roger. I'm sure Roger Ebert, unconventionally attractive. I'm not suggesting there's anything unattractive about Roger Ebert, except that he's dead. If you're still attracted to Roger Ebert, that's a problem. But my friend
just got that big Roger Ebert sign, give 4-star, 4 stars.
Yeah, very conventionally attractive. And so my memories of Madison, when I think about it, Plaza Burgers at the Plaza, the terrific food at Himmelchuli, which I think is still there. Last time I was there, it was still there.
We love Himmelchuli. Mm-hmm.
I go back to Himmelchuli whenever I'm in Madison. I was in Madison a couple years ago, went straight to Himmelchuli. I'm so glad it's still there. And just what a good biking town it was. And I ran ACT UP, and we made an impact when I was in Madison. And it's a great town. I didn't go to school there. My then boyfriend was going to grad school there. And I was cheating on him, but also helping to support him while I went to grad school. So I wasn't a complete asshole.
A little give and take.
A little give and, a little rub and tug.
Well, talking about ACT UP, let's bring it back to today, 2025, because, Madison is a queer-friendly city. We like that. We're proud of that. We've also officially designated ourselves a trans sanctuary city. And one thing that, as you discussed, like Hump does really well is showcase different sides of sexuality, identity, kink, and beyond. And in a time when the LGBTQ plus community, and especially trans people, are facing so much adversity, is it a radical notion to host an event like this? Or is Hump exactly what people need right now?
People still need pleasure and joy and connection. I wrote recently, and it kind of went viral in my column after the day Trump was sworn in, to say that people shouldn't shame people that they catch having fun right now. Because in the darkest days of the AIDS crisis, me and my friends, we would bury our friends in the morning. We would go to the demo in the afternoon, and we would dance all night. And the dance kept us in the fight. And the dance was what we were fighting for. And Hump is a place where you can celebrate and connect with other people. One of the things that, the right-wing religious bigots wanted from gay people during the AIDS crisis, when we had no rights and we were dying by the thousands, was our misery. And it drove them crazy when they saw that we were still joyful, when they saw that we were still having sex, when they saw that we were still making art and pornography and theater and dancing, because they wanted us curled up in the fetal position on the floor, unable to do anything. And we did everything, which included demonstrating and organizing and challenging and confronting, but also partying and loving each other. And so get out there and organize, and don't assume that other people that you see who are at a party have only ever been at a party in their lives. And if you meet somebody at a party or the dance club who hasn't been anywhere but a dance club or a party ever in their life, don't be mad that the party happened. That gives you an opportunity to invite someone to the demo. You know, we would go to the clubs and party after a big Act Up demo, and we would then meet the guys who weren't at the demo, and we would fuck those guys and then bring them to the demo next week. That's the attitude
Together.
you have to take, right?
Yes.
Somebody recently wrote to me at Savage Love and was just like, I don't know about going to these big gay leather fetish events. There's not enough education at these kink events about the political moment we're in. And I'm like, great, go to the kink event and do that education. But their attitude was like, why aren't the organizers of these events doing more to educate? Like, okay, ask the organizers to do more, but you can also regard the fact that these events have been organized and they're happening as an opportunity to activate people, to reach people. But you can't activate people that you make feel bad. Nobody wants to be scolded. No one was ever scolded into coming to an Act Up demo. We made them look like the best time you could possibly have at the worst time. That's our challenge now, politically, on the left, when it comes to organizing. That's not about, like, I'm not talking about goals or setting goals or priorities. I'm just talking about getting people out there. It has to be an invitation, and it has to look like an invite to a joyful party.
I'm just going to leave some space for that because
I'm going to cry. Like, I can't believe I got through that without my voice cracking, just because I think of friends I had that we literally carried to the party after the demo because they were dying in our arms, and we would hold them up, and they wanted to be at the party too. And if we could show up at the party and the demo holding up our friends who are dying, don't you dare guilt trip people about being at the party. And don't assume that they weren't at the demo. That's just so important. Never assume they weren't at the demo.
And it's so essential to fuel our spirits and to make assumptions about where people are at and what it took for them to get to the party to find some joy for themselves. And what, yes. So everything you said, I'm not even going to add anything because it's right there. And the joy is critical to the movement.
And they hate it. They hate it.
And they hate it.
That's what's political and radical about queer joy. It's what's political and radical about queers and straight people experiencing joy together, which is part of what Hump shows us is possible, because there's straight films and gay films and trans films and lesbian films and vanilla films and kinky films. And all of these different kinds of people are there together to celebrate each other and create joy. And they hate that. They hate that. You know, one of the things I've always said about their fear of gay pride and queer pride parades is that straight people would come to them and see that there's so many different ways to be gay and queer, and then think, why is there just one way to be straight? And that is what is destabilizing for religious and social conservatives about the existence of queer people, the public existence of queer people, where straight people can see us. And where we can see them seeing us. That's Hump, man. That's Hump and so many other things. Like, that's queer pride, that's queer people and trans people and gay and lesbian people just being out to their friends and families and neighbors and coworkers. But it's also things like Hump.
Well, it's been 20 years of Hump Fest. It is so clearly a passion project for you. What are your hopes for the next 20 years? Long live?
God, I hope I'm alive 20 years from now. I hope we're all here 20 years from now.
You'll be here.
I'm not making assumptions more than like 2 weeks in advance anymore. I just hope it continues to thrive. And I get to go on the podcast. I get to go to do the interviews and intro the show. But the people who make Hump happen are the performers and filmmakers and artists. And Hump is one of the very few film festivals in the world that pays the filmmakers. Most film festivals, you have to pay to enter, and you get no payment, just the honor of being in the film festival. Everybody who makes a film for Hump, every film that gets into Hump, every filmmaker gets a percentage of every ticket sold. Thousands and thousands of dollars in checks to each filmmaker.
That's big.
Every year. And, somebody's a struggling indie filmmaker, a check for $3,000 or $4,000 for the film they made, for the 1 minute film they made for Hump, that can really help. not just pay the rent, but help them make more art, or just take their friends out for a crazy special night that they made that film with.
A joyous party.
A joyous party.
Yeah.
Can I plug one last thing?
Absolutely not.
Humpfilmfest.com/submit. If you want to find out how to make a film for Hump, get a film into Hump. If you haven't seen Hump, you can stream Hump online and you can see what kinds of films make it into Hump. Everything from people filming a salt and pepper shaker making love on an iPhone to like full movie studio productions have made it onto Hump. So you can get into Hump, and it's the filmmakers, artists, performers who make Hump happen, and we want to keep Hump going. So humpfilmfest.com/submit.
Get your movie in. Dan, it's been very profound and incredible to have you on our show, and we really appreciate you opening up and being a source of joy. This is a gorgeous event. I can't wait to go. Thank you for joining us.
And thank you, Bianca. I really enjoyed talking with you. Thanks.
That's Dan Savage, advice columnist for Savage Love and founder of the Hump Film Festival. If you want to get tickets to this Saturday, September 27th Hump Fest screening at the Barrymore Theater, head to our show notes for a link. That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm your host, Bianca Martin. Don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. And if you enjoyed today's show, why not share this episode with someone who likes exploration? All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care and let your freak flag fly. That is, of course, if you want to.